Hi guys, Ivan Temmelkov here from digitalstrategist.com. This is the Dedicator Vlog, episode 20. In this episode, I'll talk about three things. Our recent trip to the underground, the mobile search algorithm, and the rebirth of my iTunes podcast, or also known as Digital Marketing Revolution. Stay tuned. Alright, let's get on with the show. First of all, I'm ecstatic about episode 20. It's already 20 episodes of my vlog, which is something that I really didn't think that I was going to reach, so I'm quite ecstatic about that. And then let's move on and talk about a recent trip to the underground. So this past weekend, my wife and I, we ventured out to Crystal City Underground, and this is a former sand mine that is tucked away about 35 to 45 minutes from St. Louis. And the reason we actually ventured out there is it was actually a Groupon deal, which my wife actually still uses Groupon and enjoys it quite a bit. It purchased for me for Valentine's Day. And what that involved in is basically taking a barge ride in an abandoned sand mine that has been purchased and is in the process of being reformed into a sports complex. So one of the things that this Groupon offer actually had included is a barge ride, which is about 30 minutes long. And we ventured out there to kind of explore and check out what the fuss was all about. So in this video, I captured a lot of video while we were there on site. So I wanted to show you guys some clips from the experience so you could see kind of the entrance into the cave and the inside and kind of get a glimpse for the experience itself.
This bridge looks scary.
No. It says it's been inspected by an engineer. So, no alcohol in the parking lot. Outside beverages allowed. No smoking in the cave. When entering tunnel, watch for oncoming traffic. Not responsible for accidents. Well then. Alright, better close
Last
that up.
$25 I ever spent.
This is the exact cave that was on that show on Discovery Channel. It's pretty cool, actually.
Okay.
You're getting claustrophobic, aren't you?
Okay.
Commercial free. Every time we start the music. All day,
Should be glad I did this for you.
96.3.
Oh, I'm glad.
Should have sent Grandpa with you.
Alright, so that was the entrance to the cave actually. That bridge that we actually went over that I talked about that has been inspected by an engineer according to the staff and the management at Crystal City Underground. And it's actually the one that was featured on the Salvage City Discovery Channel show, which aired, I believe, December of 2013. There's a link in the blog post below that I've linked in the description of this video that's also available on my blog that you can peruse through as well. So let's dive into a little bit more footage that I have about the cave, the inside, and we'll get into the actual barge ride and I'll show you some clips on the water.
Pretty cool. It's like all the... Oh wow, look at that. I have a whole lounge area over here. Gargoyles are kind of cool. It's the Flintstones, babe. It's the Flintstones. This is pretty awesome.
Enjoy this.
What's that?
Enjoy this.
What's that?
It wasn't.
Is it canoe and kayaking?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, I know. By yourself.
Canoe and kayak tours. 3-hour tour, 5-person minimum.
Bring your dad.
Yeah, I'll probably bring him. He'll probably like this. Oh wow.
Yeah, you can definitely get killed in
It cracked me up.
There'll be people all over in here.
It's pretty cool. Barge volleyball. It's pretty cool. It's a coming kids adventure. Gotta keep going straight. It's Treasure Hunters kids adventure. Pretty cool.
You can get a picture of Hannah Joe. Thanks. You see she'll take one?
You want to? Let me ask her.
Okay, so that what you saw right there was actually the entrance into the actual cave. So as you kind of walk in, and they have kind of a welcome area, if you would, and to the right of it, there is an entire sitting area. They have tables and chairs, and there is a full-blown bar there. By the way, they have every kind of alcohol you can think of. It's stacked up against the rock. As you walk in, they have food, grilled food, barbecue. And if you notice in the video, kind of to the right, they actually have a pretty big screen, a theater screen. They do a lot of different events like wedding receptions, believe it or not, special events, group events, also box matches, also boxing matches, also. So it's kind of cool, and then they have a lot of artifacts, as you noticed, in the entrance. So with that being said, this next clip will actually dive into the actual barge ride and show you the water and some of the things that we saw. Keep in mind, it's a little dark in the video, so you have to pay close attention.
It's gotta be the waiting dock. Oh my God, look at the water. Look at how clean it is. That's crazy. Can you tell him I'm absolutely enjoying this? Look at that water. Isn't that crazy? It's a bunch of crap down there, too.
It gets deeper the further back we go.
Nice.
It's basically going downhill the further back we go. So we'll be there about 20 foot on the bar drive. And I'll stop and show everybody how deep it is.
It looks like it. No. A duck, maybe? I can move it around.
Mined it from 1871 to January 1st, 1983. They mined it for silica sand, which is a high quality sandstone for making glass. This is where Crystal City got its name from. The glass factory used to be behind the fence you guys followed to get to here. They tore it down in the early 90s. But they used to pump the water out 24/7 when they were mining it here. There used to be tracks through there, yeah. And then basically, they shut off all the power and all the pumps went off when they shut down and it just filled up over the years. Now that's where the lake comes from.
Here's one.
It's a total of 200 acres underground. 150 of the acres is flooded. We
Oh,
call it
wow.
the lake. The longest stretch of cave is about 3 miles long. But they used to have power in here. They had power lines that ran pillar to pillar throughout the whole place. They had lights. They had a lot of equipment back here. Some real anchors in the wall. All the black stuff on the walls is carbon buildup from all these exhaust fumes.
All right, guys, so that was probably some of the most interesting points of the barge ride. As you noticed in the video clip, the tour guy was talking a little bit about the background and the history of the sand mine, and if you caught in the midst of the narration, he mentioned that the cave actually is about 300 feet underground, and directly above it there actually is currently a subdivision. And that particular subdivision actually has a well that pumps its water directly from the cave below. In the video, I think it was kind of hard to see, to the left and to the right of each side, the water actually at one point meets the ceiling. So it gets steeper and steeper to the point to where it meets with the water, and that's actually part of the kayaking and canoeing experience. That you can go as far out, and that's why the tour is anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours, giving you the ability to go out and venture out and explore. So with that being said, you can find out more information at crystalcityunderground.com. I've got links below in the video in the description, including the blog post I wrote yesterday and additional linkage that you can check out more information if you're ever interested in checking out Crystal City Underground. With that being said, let's move on to the next couple things of the video. Alright guys, so the next thing I want to talk about in this video is the mobile-friendly mobile ranking algorithm that Google announced back in February, and also letting all of its users know that as of April 21, 2015, April 21st, 2015, they will be rolling out exclusively a mobile ranking algorithm that will focus on ranking, or de-ranking for that matter, sites that do or do not have mobile visibility. So one of the things that Google introduced in November of 2014, I believe, was the mobile-friendly snippets. And what those really are is when you're searching on a mobile device and you're perusing through Google using Google Chrome or the Google app, depending on what device you have, is next to the search results in the description line, you'd notice a small snippet that shows whether or not the site is mobile friendly. Now, the reason for that change, that Google implemented that change, is due to the change in consumer behavior and trends in the marketplace, where consumers are utilizing more mobile devices to find information. As a matter of fact, I believe as of earlier this year, Google announced that nearly half, a little over half of its traffic is now coming from mobile devices. So the intent behind the mobile-friendly algorithm is to focus on sites that are either mobile-friendly or, more importantly, non-mobile friendly, and therefore potentially incurring penalties on those particular sites. So what I wanted to talk about in this video is, and I have a link down below in the description line to a blog post that I wrote back on March 20th, titled "How to Prepare Your Mobile-Friendly Website for Upcoming Mobile Search Algorithm." Now, if you have a mobile-friendly website, and what I really mean by that is, one that has a responsive design, which ultimately allows the hierarchy and the infrastructure of the site to adapt to the device that it's being viewed on, then you really shouldn't have too much to worry about. However, if you have a non-mobile friendly website where it is inaccessible on mobile devices such as phones and tablets like an iPhone or an iPad, for example, then there's a few things you definitely need to consider. First of all, you need to check out the Google mobile friendly guidelines, and there's links in the blog post that I've linked below, and find out what are the criteria that you need to adapt to ensure that your site is mobile friendly. Now, if you have a mobile friendly website, there's three things ultimately that you need to focus on. First of all, you want to make sure that it's easy for customer access on mobile and tablet devices. Everything it's about user experience. So your mobile responsive site should adapt to the needs of your customers, allowing them to find information about your products or services easier. So this is everything from navigation, typography, page-to-page navigation, making individual elements easily accessible, and ultimately giving them the information at their fingertips. Measuring the effectiveness of customer interaction. So Google Analytics is a powerful tool that allows you to monitor the changing trends and patterns on your website, and you can utilize that information to determine how your users are interacting with your website, and therefore be able to adapt and make changes necessary to improve the overall user experience. User experience and user interaction performance on mobile and tablet devices. So this kind of goes back to the first point, but it emphasizes more on call to action and evaluating call to action, social media sharing capabilities, and then last but not least is determining whether or not your site has passed the Google mobile friendly test. So these are three things, and again, I'm going to recap those for you guys. The first is easier customer access on mobile and tablet devices, measuring the effectiveness of customer interaction, and the third, UX and UI performance on mobile and tablet devices. So if you have a mobile responsive website, chances are your UX and UI elements are probably intact but may need some polishing. So I would definitely reassess that and reevaluate, take a closer look into Google Analytics and determine how your audience is interacting with your website to identify any areas that may be in need of improvements. Now, if you do not have a mobile responsive website, and what I mean by this is a site, a design, an architecture that adapts seamlessly to mobile and tablet devices, then you might be in trouble. Google has stated clearly that as of April 21st, 2015, when they begin to roll out the mobile algorithm, that sites that are non-mobile friendly may incur a penalty from an SEO perspective. Now, we do not know yet what those penalties might entail in. I believe that Google Webmaster Tools may give us a closer look into that when that time comes. But since we have about a week, let's see, today is April 14th, so we have about a week prior to the launch of the algorithm, I would definitely start thinking about what are some temporary fixes, patches, band-aids that you can put on your website if it's non-mobile friendly to adapt to this new algorithm. There's a lot of tools and resources in the article below that I've linked in the description line that you can utilize to determine what it will take to adapt your non-mobile friendly website, and at least for the interim, give you the ability to adapt and adjust until you can determine what's the best approach for your site. All right, guys, so I know this is an unusually lengthy video, very unusual from what I typically do on my YouTube channel, but the last portion that I want to talk about here is the rebirth of my iTunes podcast, Digital Marketing Revolution. So kind of give you a little bit of background on the podcast itself. So I launched the podcast in January or February, I believe, of 2014, and it was really as part of an experiment due to the evolution of digital marketing. I thought that this would be a good time to start the podcast and use that as a platform to educate and give others information about digital marketing based on my experience and things that I've learned in my career. Due to time constraints, I was unable to dedicate the time towards the podcast, and therefore it quickly saw its demise after the 4th episode. And it was quite unfortunate because I received plenty of compliments and a lot of questions, a lot of interest really behind the podcast. A lot of people, were a bit disappointed that the podcast came to an end. And again, it was mainly due to time constraints. At the time I was working on a lot of different things and it was a matter of priorities. However, I think I've reached a point where I'm ready to rejuvenate the podcast. I'm really, really excited to relaunch the podcast itself. So as of this week, you can expect to find a new episode of the podcast. It will be available either in the middle of this week or towards the later part of the week. You can find out more information about the podcast at digitalwebstrategist.com/DMR-podcast. and you can actually download it to your iOS device and subscribe, and therefore be in the know when new episodes are available. As it stands, I haven't really considered about taking the podcast onto additional platforms like Android and so on and so forth. However, it is in consideration. So I want to hear your thoughts about the podcast. You know, if you can comment below in the video, check out previous episodes, and let me know what your thoughts are, what you'd like to hear. If there is any specific guests that you'd like to see on the show, then I can definitely make every attempt to see if I can catch their attention and bring them on to share their knowledge and expertise. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. If I bored you to death with this episode, I apologize. And with that being said, this is the Digital Marketer Vlog, episode 20, and it's a wrap. Peace.